I wasn't included, not this year, not the one prior, not in the past decade. The email landed in my inbox on a Tuesday, its subject line bright and overly eager to seem inviting. Whitmore Family Gathering 2025, RSVP by Friday. It wasn't meant for me. I knew that before even opening it, but I clicked regardless. The guest list included everyone. Camille, naturally, with her husband and their 2 children, Aunt Janine from Savannah, Uncle Roger, still sporting that absurd fishing hat in every picture, even Cousin Lily, who once took my prom dress and swore she didn't with a blank stare. But not me. Not even a misspelled version of me. No Carla. No Clara, just an empty space where I belonged. That kind of omission doesn't yell. It murmurs, steady and subtle, like the hum of a kitchen appliance you only notice when it stops. I was in my Santa Monica office, surrounded by glass walls, pressing deadlines, and diplomas I'd worked tirelessly to earn. Yet the room felt chilly, untouched by the California sunlight. I glanced at the email again, my name absent, as if it had never been part of the story. I nearly shut my laptop. Nearly. But instead, I opened a new tab and searched for the beach house where the family retreat was always held. A sprawling, whitewashed home on the Georgia coast, with its porch swing and fairy lights, the last place I saw my father chuckle before his stroke changed everything. There it was, a listing, not for rent, but for sale. No family text, no phone call, not even a courtesy heads-up. I read every detail, price reduced, seller eager, deed pending review. I recognized the real estate agent, the same one who managed my grandmother's estate. In that moment, the atmosphere shifted. They were letting it go, quietly, just as they'd let me go, like I was a memory they could discard. But anger didn't come, not yet. I turned to the bookshelf behind me, where a turquoise shell sat, the one my father handed me when I was 9. "You move with the tides, Clara," he said. "Don't let them shrink you." That's when the spark of an idea formed. They'd scrubbed my name from every invite, but I still knew how to write my own. Being erased isn't announced. It creeps in slowly. One unanswered call, one family photo shared without you, one chair left vacant at a dinner where no one asks why you're missing. At first, I made an effort. I mailed Christmas presents, joined the family chat when my name was still on it, flew back for Thanksgiving even when the plane ticket cost more than my rent. I offered to cover Mom's mortgage when Camille's kids needed braces. I did what youngest daughters are expected to do. Show up, stay silent, be helpful. But helpful has an expiration date. Camille always held center stage. She was radiant, camera ready, loud in a way people found endearing. She threw baby showers with custom drinks, designed matching shirts for reunions, once called me from a craft store to ask if I preferred teal or coral for the beach house tablecloths. I said, "I don't think I'll be there this year." She replied, "That's fine, Clara will keep a plate for you." No one did. After Dad's stroke, I flew out alone, sat by his hospital bed while Camille was too overwhelmed, and Mom couldn't bear to see him that way. I fed him, read from his favorite Steinbeck novel. When he could speak, his voice broke. "You showed up. That winter, I asked Mom about estate planning, not for money, just to know what would happen to the house, the accounts, the trust he'd mentioned." She gave a tight smile. "Camille and I have it handled. Don't trouble yourself." I stopped asking. The last time I tried visiting the beach house, the spare key wasn't under the mat. Camille said they'd changed the locks after a burglary, but I'd heard nothing about any break-in. I started skipping holidays, sending cards that went unanswered, stopped correcting them when they called me too busy or distant in social media posts. One day, Mom shared a throwback photo of Camille and Dad on the beach, the sunset glowing behind them. I remember that photo. I'd taken it, standing just out of frame. She'd cropped me out. That was the year I stopped sending gifts, but I didn't stop watching. My old neighbor in Savannah, now a paralegal, kept me in the loop quietly. Screenshots, snippets, email chains I'd been removed from. "They think you vanished," she said once. "But you're just listening." I wasn't gone. I was waiting. And sometimes, those who forget you first are the ones most terrified of your return. I didn't buy the house out of spite. I bought it because I was tired of pretending my absence was an accident. The listing had been up for 13 days. No fanfare, no family alert, just a discreet for sale link tucked in a real estate newsletter I nearly trashed. The house wasn't even listed under the Whitmore name anymore. It was under an LLC, likely Camille's doing after Dad passed, a tidy way to keep things detached. I knew that game. I worked in corporate strategy. I'd seen that move countless times. But I wasn't upset. I was precise. I printed the paperwork, called a friend in property law, and set up a call with Savannah that night. She ran a title search in minutes and found something unexpected. A clause in Dad's trust tied to me. If the estate fell into neglect, unpaid taxes, lapsed insurance, or undisclosed transfers, I, the secondary beneficiary, could claim the title. The taxes were overdue. The insurance expired. It wasn't even carelessness. It was arrogance. Camille and Mom probably thought the house could sit, half-used, until they decided its fate. But Dad had left a safeguard. Savannah's voice was soft. If you wanted Clara, it's yours. No battle needed. I didn't reply immediately. I stared at the turquoise shell, still whole after all these years, remembering Dad brushing sand off it, handing it to me like it was precious. You think in tides, he'd said, not waves. You return stronger. That night, I opened a spreadsheet, my finances, stock options, savings. Nothing flashy like Camille's post suggested, but steady independent. I contacted the listing agent 2 days later. She didn't know my name until I said, Whitmore. Clara, Thomas's daughter. She paused. Oh, you're the other one. Yes, the other one. I signed the purchase papers under the trust clause. No publicity, no announcement. Then I booked the master suite for 3 nights. Check-in Friday, under Miss C. Whitmore. In the preferences I wrote, please have a bottle of Perrier Jouet chilled. Guest prefers firm pillows, cotton linens, complete privacy. When the confirmation arrived, I didn't smile or cry. I just sat still. They'd erased me from their guest list. I'd added myself to the deed. I arrived early, not to confront anyone, not to watch, just to see the house again before they did. It seemed smaller than I recalled, or maybe I'd grown. The porch swing still tilted, the shutters needed paint, and someone had swapped the front lantern for a cheap solar light. But it still breathed with the ocean breeze, as if it had been waiting. I didn't stay long, just checked that the champagne was cold, the sheets were turned down, and my name was correct in the guest book. Then I left, parking 2 streets away in a rented sedan, and waited. At 6:42 p.m., Camille's white Audi rolled into the driveway. Her husband stepped out first, wrestling with bags. Their kids spilled out, already bickering. Camille emerged last, sunglasses perched like a tiara. Then came Mom, in the back of Uncle Roger's SUV, dressed in resort linen, pearls at her throat. No makeup, just a hint of lip balm. The look of a Southern woman ready to deny gracefully. They wheeled their suitcases toward the steps, all smiles and chatter. I heard faint laughter, vague directions. Camille led them to the front desk, and then everything froze. The clerk, a young woman with a pixie cut and a polite smile, spoke like she was reading a forecast. I'm sorry, I don't see your names on the reservation. Are you with Miss Clara Whitmore's group? Camille blinked. I'm sorry, whose group? Miss Clara Whitmore. She has the full booking. The name landed like a glass shattering. The silence wasn't expectant. It reshaped the room. I stepped out of the car, not for theatrics, but because it was time. My heels clicked on the tile as I walked in, calm, steady. I didn't look at Camille. I didn't need to. I can clear this up, I told the clerk. I'm Miss Whitmore. The deed closed 2 weeks ago. Camille turned, her face rigid. You bought the house? Yes. Mom's voice was faint, bewildered. But why would you do that? I met her eyes. Not angry, not cold, just done. Because I was never invited. But I was never gone. Camille stepped closer, arms stiff. You think this is clever? You think stealing our family trip proves anything? No, I said. It resolves something. I handed my ID to the clerk. Anyone not on my guest list should be escorted out, politely. No need for harshness. I added, almost softly. They're family. The clerk hesitated, then nodded. Behind me, no one spoke. Not Camille. Not Mom. Not Uncle Roger. The silence spoke for me. They left the desk without a word. No outbursts. No storming off. Just tense shoulders and a quiet that followed them like a shadow. I didn't follow. They knew now. That was enough, or so I thought. The next morning, A news van appeared. I saw it from the window, white with blue lettering, parked past the hedges. A man in a button-down with too much hair gel stood outside, mic in hand, squinting into the camera like he was reporting a scandal. I didn't answer the door, but when the segment aired, my phone exploded. Texts, emails, a voicemail from a colleague I hadn't spoken to in years. Is this true? Did you really take your family's house through a legal loophole while your dad was ill? The headline screamed, "Daughter seizes family estate via trust loophole." They painted me as a schemer in stilettos. A family source claimed Dad was mentally compromised, coerced into signing away his legacy. No name, but I knew Camille's knack for wielding sympathy. I didn't cry or draft a rebuttal. I called Savannah. "Time," I asked. She didn't need more. 15 minutes. What she sent was thorough, dated screenshots of texts between Camille and Mom. "Clara's not coming again. She makes everything about her. Too busy proving herself to care about us. Don't feel bad leaving her out. She's used to it." There were audio clips, too. One from a speakerphone call during lunch, Camille's voice cutting. "Clara's too weak for this family. Let her stay in her condo. We're better off." The key was a video from 2 summers ago. Dad sat on the porch, blanket over his legs, holding a chipped mug. I was beside him, just out of frame. His voice was quiet but firm. "I want Clara to have this place. Camille's loud, but Clara makes things endure." I hadn't watched it since we recorded it. I'd save it for moments like this. The next morning, I uploaded everything to a secure drive and sent it to a reporter I trusted, one who'd covered elder care and inheritance disputes years ago. No explanations, just a note. "This is the whole story. You decide what counts." It didn't go viral. It didn't need to. By afternoon, the original story was retracted, replaced with a quiet correction. My inbox calmed. That night, Savannah texted, "They're silent." "Then you ready?" I looked at the ocean, dark and vast under the moonlight. Yes, the courthouse smelled of dust and sanitizer. I arrived early, alone. No flashy lawyer, just me in a navy dress my grandmother once called resolute blue, a folder tucked under my arm. Inside were things they didn't expect to see. Camille was already there, in a white pantsuit, lips a thin line. She didn't look at me, but her fingers tapped her phone nervously. Mom sat beside her, back too straight, pearls quivering with each breath. She glanced at me once, then away. The clerk called the case. Whitmore versus Whitmore, petition for injunction on contested property, alleging undue influence and elder manipulation. Their lawyer went first, polished and young, tossing out terms like intent, vulnerability, coercion. He called me estranged, pausing for effect. I didn't react. When my turn came, I stood, measured, no drama. "Your Honor, I'd like to present video and audio evidence regarding the trust and my father's clear wishes." The judge nodded, glasses slipping slightly. The bailiff dimmed the lights. The video played. Dad in his blanket, voice steady. "I want Clara to have this place. Camille's loud, but Clara makes things last. She was the only one who came after the stroke, the only one who asked for nothing." A pause, then he looked at the camera. "It's not about fairness. It's about memory." The room shifted. Mom blinked rapidly. Camille's jaw tightened. Then the audio, Camille's voice sharp. Clara was never part of this family. She should have been easier to control. The silence that followed wasn't shocked. It was heavy, final. The judge leaned back, tapped his pen. "This court finds no basis for the petition. The evidence shows clear intent from the deceased. The plaintiff's language suggests exclusion, not confusion." He removed his glasses. "This court doesn't heal family wounds. It upholds the law. And here, the law is clear." He struck the gavel. Petition denied. Camille stood, fists tight. Mom stayed seated, eyes glassy but dry. I gathered my folder and left without a glance back. Outside, reporters waited. One mic pushed forward with half a question. "Do you have anything to say to your family?" I paused briefly. "No. I've said it already, just in softer words." I kept walking. The house was still when I returned. No bags on the porch, no voices echoing. Just the ocean's hum and the faint clatter of wind through loose shutters. Inside, it felt lighter, as if something, Noise, denial had been siphoned out. I didn't touch anything at first, just walked slowly, tracing the banister's grain, smoothing the rug's corner, letting the quiet tell me what remained. In the office, once Dad's, then Grandma's, I opened the desk's bottom drawer, never cleared. There was the wind chime we'd made. Seashells on fishing line, blue thread frayed, my 9-year-old handwriting faint on a shell, CW. I sat on the floor, legs crossed like a kid, and started untangling. I didn't fix it to make it perfect. I fixed it because some things matter even if they're flawed. When Savannah arrived, she brought wine and paper towels. "You didn't think I'd let you claim this place without cleaning the windows, did you?" she grinned. We worked quietly, 2 women wiping away more than dust, years of being overlooked, of being footnotes in someone else's tale. At sunset, I hung the wind chime by the kitchen window. It caught the breeze, dancing like it remembered how. Later, on the porch, Savannah asked, "What's next?" I gazed at the horizon. They said I drifted, that I left. But I never went anywhere. I paused. They just chose not to see me. We didn't clink glasses or celebrate. We sat, 2 glasses in hand, watching the sea breathe. That night, I turned off the lights room by room from within. If this story stirred something silent in you, something you haven't voiced in years, you're not alone. There are more of us than you'd think, people who didn't leave, just weren't called back. If you've ever been written out of your own story, leave a comment, even just a word, so the silence doesn't win this time. We read every one.